on news around the world. Court orders INEC to recognize Ibadan PDP convention. DSS arrests suspect behind abduction of worshippers in Kogi. And on the foreign scene, 171 bodies discovered in 2 mass graves in DR Congo. Good evening and welcome to News Around the World here on BCOS television. I am Idowu Shekoni. In the sign language corner is Shakirat Ogundeji. An high court sitting in Ibadan has directed the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to recognize the PDP convention held in Ibadan and validated the emergence of Aminu Turaki, the Aminu Turaki-led PDP executive. These was part of the 13 reliefs granted in a judgment delivered by Justice Ladiro Akintola of the High Court 5, Ring Road, Ibadan today. Our man, Bode Akintola, has details of the judgment delivered today, but this report is presented by Afolakemi Akambi.
Leadership crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Nigeria seems to be ending with an high court sitting in Ibadan delivered a judgment. The case was instituted by Folahun Malomo Adelabi against PDP Ambassador Umar Iliya Damagun and Right Honorable Umar Fintiri. Delivering the judgment today, Justice Ladiro Akintola of the High Court 5, Ring Road, Ibadan, directed the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to recognize the Ibadan PDP convention held on November 15th and 16th, 2025. The court also granted that the scheduled 15th and 16th November Ibadan PDP convention is certified whether or not the INEC monitored the said convention. The court also declared that the convention outcome is binding on all authorities and persons that have duty to relate. Justice Ladiro also granted a relief that the convention is legal and binding on INEC and should give effect to the convention. Speaking to newsmen after Justice Ladiro Akintola delivered the judgment, the counsel to the claimants and respondents in the case, Barrister Musbao Adetumbi, SAN, gave an insight into the relief sought and granted by the court.
So today, the ruling for that stay of proceedings was delivered, the application for stay of proceedings was refused, and the court moved to judgment. We sought for 13 reliefs. And we are saying that the claimant has the right to associate and he has the right to take the benefit of the association, which is the convention, and the court agreed with us. We are equally saying that since they've complied with everything that they ought to do, which had been done, then their convention is valid, and the court agreed with us. The court made that pronouncement. The court even gave a consequential order, which we sought for, that INEC has to deal with them. All authorities must deal with them because they have a freedom of association and they've done what is legal. Yes, that judgment has said INEC should deal with the Turaki-led executive.
Reacting to a release by one Honorable Jingolo Aruna Mohammed that the judgment is a mere academic exercise, Barrister Musbao Adetumbi have this to say.
If they know that it's an academic exercise, then they should not appeal it. No man, not even, with profound respect, the President and Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces of the country, which by special grace of Almighty Allah today is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has the power, capacity to describe any judgment or any order of court as an academic exercise. That power belongs to the court itself. The appellate court can say, oh, lower court, you engage in academic exercise. The Supreme Court can say, oh, Court of Appeal, High Court, you engage in academic exercise. But neither you, nor I, nor any citizen of Nigeria, not a court of law, will say a judgment is an academic exercise. There's nothing like that. Not even INEC. What INEC can do is to appeal it. They can seek leave to appeal it, but they don't have that power to say it's an academic exercise.
Reacting to the judgment, the Oyo State PDP, who spoke through the publicity secretary, Mr. Michael Ogunshino, said the judgment is a victory to those who believe in democratic principles of fairness. He added that the era of impunity by some individuals is gone in the PDP.
Because what happened today, Mr. Akintola has just stood by the laws of our country that has recognized our convention as valid, as proper and held within the provisions of the law. And I'm so particularly glad because now INEC has no other choice than to accept the decision of that particular and the things we discussed and decided at that particular convention, which includes the expulsion of some Wiki, Ayofayoshe, and their fellow charlatans from our from our great party. So I'm happy that now the coast is clear for the Terminal to Rakiled executive to start and accelerate their rebirth agenda.
The 15th and 16th November 2025 PDP convention of Ibadan has been a matter of legal litigations.
Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party governors-backed Aminu Turaki-led National Working Committee, NWC, has commended the Oyo State High Court for affirming the legitimacy of the party's Ibadan National Convention held in November 2025. The Turaki-led National Working Committee, through a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Eni Emamobong, on Friday, hailed the ruling as a triumph for internal democracy and the cohesion of the party. On Friday, the Oyo State High Court in Ibadan affirmed the validity of the 2025 PDP National Convention held on the 15th and 16th of November in Ibadan, which saw Turaki elected to lead the party's NWC. In response, the PDP praised the Honorable Court for its bravery and commitment to upholding justice. The Federal High Court in Abuja on Friday admitted a former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and his son, Abdulaziz, to 200 million naira bail each over alleged terrorism financing and illegal possession of firearms. Justice Joyce Abdulmalik, in a ruling on their separate bail applications, held that the essence of the bail was to ensure that defendants attend trial. The judge ordered that one of the sureties must own a developed landed property in Maitama or Asokoro, Abuja, and deposit the title deed with the Deputy Chief Registrar of the court. Malami and his son were further directed to deposit their passports and recent passport photographs with the court. The court, however, ordered that the defendants be remanded in the Kuje Correctional Center pending the perfection of their bail conditions and adjourns the matter till the 4th of March for commencement of trial. You're watching News Around the World on BCOS television. We have a short commercial break. Please stay tuned.
Of 3 billion naira with Nivea. 1,000 naira airtime guaranteed with every entry. Become one of 10 billionaires weekly or win a chance to see Real Madrid live. 3 SUVs to be won. Buy any Nivea 400ml promo product, scratch and dial to enter. I am the chef of life.
Mr. Chef, it's a 2-finger crush.
Pass me the chicken and all toppings.
Mama Maka, we got this.
With Mr. Chef, a simple crush turns meals into culture and moments into memories.
The true taste of home
and culture.
Mr. Chef, taste home, taste culture.
Alright everyone, open your ears, make we talk. Time don't reach to rearrange this house to give us small wisdom. Sounds mighty fresh now, but in our home, I beg no be so. Someone I go talk say our smell no reach. Maybe think I'm trying so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection promotes 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's time to brush.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
Protect every day with Hypo. Dirty and stains don't be do shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go Hypo. Protect your home every day with Hypo.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Go Hypo.
Many thanks for staying tuned. The Defense Headquarters has disclosed that military training, intelligence, and operational support provided to Nigeria by the United States is offered at no cost, in line with Washington's global policy to combat terrorism. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, made this known on Friday while briefing journalists on military operations against terrorists and other criminal elements in February 2026. According to him, the assistance is being delivered through the United States Africa Command, AFRICOM, as part of a strategic partnership aimed at strengthening Nigeria's counter-terrorism efforts. Commenting on the recent upsurge in terrorist attacks and kidnappings in Adamawa State and parts of the Northwest, Major General Onoja said the incidents were not due to fresh infiltration, but rather terrorists fleeing sustained military offensives, while acknowledging public concerns about the activities of some repentant militants who passed through the Operation Safe Corridor de-radicalization program. He said military authorities and relevant stakeholders were working to review the program. Operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, have arrested the alleged mastermind of the 14th of December 2025 attack on Equa Church in Ayetoro, Kogi State. Security sources said the suspect, identified as Shafiu Usman, was apprehended at a hideout in Gombe State, where he had reportedly gone into hiding after the incident. Speaking on Friday, one of the sources said Usman confessed during interrogation to orchestrating the Ayetoro church attack and other kidnapping operations in Niger, Kwara, and Kogi states. The source disclosed that the suspect worked with one Ibrahim Batijo, described as a bandit operating across Niger, Kwara, Kogi, and Zamfara states. Recall that on Sunday, the 14th of December 2025, armed men on motorcycles attacked Ayetoro Kiri community in Kababunu local government area of Kogi State, abducting at least 30 residents, mostly children and elderly worshippers. Tension over the contentious Electoral Act 2026 split into the streets of the Federal Capital Territory today as scores of demonstrators staged a peaceful solidarity march in support of the Independent National Electoral Commission, warning against attempts to distract the Commission ahead of the 2027 general elections. The protesters, under the aegis of the Arewa Grassroots Leaders Assembly, marched from the National Assembly complex to INEC headquarters in Abuja. The Senate, however, dismissed the agitation and advised the opposition figures to channel their grievances through the legislative process at the National Assembly. Addressing journalists at the protest ground, National President of AGLA, Collins Onogu, said the gathering was not to condemn, but to commend the electoral umpire. You're still watching these around the world on BCOS television. We have another timeout. Please stay with us.
Buy any participating Coca-Cola glass or PET bottle and stand a chance to win your share of 600 million naira in cash and seriously tasty prizes. There's 2 new millionaires every single day, plus over 50 million naira in weekly prizes. It's easy. Scan the QR code. Find your unique code under the cap or tab and check to see if you've won. Coca-Cola, a recipe for wonder.
Protect every day with Hypo.
Stains and dirt don't go on break.
So whiten your whites with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo. Protect your home every day with Hypo.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo.
This Ramadan, it's not the season to hide, it's the season to let my beauty shine. Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Lotion 5-in-1 Complete Care. Discover deep nourishment with cocoa butter, deep moisture serum, and vitamin E for long-lasting moisture and protection from dry and ashy skin without the greasy feel. Get the Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Glow this Ramadan. Skin is for always shining. Nivea is for skin.
Good to know you're still there. The call for state policing continues to gain momentum in Nigeria amid growing security concerns across the country. Although constitutional amendments may not be immediately forthcoming, experts say the newly appointed Inspector General of Police can prioritize police localization as a practical step towards strengthening grassroots intelligence and curbing insurgency nationwide. This position was expressed by local social commentator Adesumbo Badejoko and security experts Dr. Adekunle Okunla while discussing the topic new IGP and the challenges of police in Nigeria on the BCOS Current Affairs Breakfast Program AM 120. Our reporter Fedora Falagboye monitored the program and now brings the details.
With the appointment of a new acting Inspector General of Police in Nigeria, public expectations are high as citizens call for meaningful reforms in the nation's security architecture. From rising insecurity to issues of public trust, analysts say the leadership transition presents a critical opportunity to rebuild confidence, enhance interagency coordination, and reposition the police for greater effectiveness. Speaking on AM 120, social commentator Adesumbo Badejoko noted that while the new acting Inspector General has an impressive professional profile, success in office is not automatic. According to him, the acting IGP will confront deep-rooted administrative and structural challenges that demand strategic leadership. He listed inadequate manpower, poor welfare packages, insufficient equipment, and other systemic constraints as major obstacles. He added that some of these challenges go beyond the powers of the Inspector General, requiring constitutional reforms and executive intervention at the highest level.
What he has to face are the challenges that the Nigerian police force are currently facing. One, they do not have enough personnel. Considering our population, their number is supposed to be around 5 million. But can the state afford it? The answer is no. The question of welfare, their salaries is not encouraging. And if you want to take them off the road from collecting bribes, you need to do something about that. Kitting, equipment, all these are challenges that they are facing.
Also contributing to the discussion, security expert Dr. Adekunle Okunla described the new acting IGP as a disciplined and experienced officer with a commendable service record. He observed that recent reforms, including the retirement of 29 senior officers, have provided a fresh operational landscape for the new police chief. Dr. Okunla expressed optimism that the acting Inspector General will build on his past achievements, including his record with the Lagos Rescue Squad, and consolidate on the successes of his predecessors while avoiding their shortcomings.
He had a credible record as a disciplined officer. The problem he might be having, and the president has helped him to solve, is the influence of senior officers, because it wasn't the most senior officers before he was appointed. So he's having a clean slate to work on presently. And the president said he's giving him his full support because he knows him and because he trusts him.
Both guests called on Nigerians to support security agencies by volunteering credible information, cooperating with law enforcement authorities, and offering constructive engagement to strengthen national security efforts. Fedora Afalagwe, BCOS News.
Now we come to Oyo State, where the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has said that about 65,000 out-of-school children have returned to classrooms in the state. The governor stated this while receiving on a courtesy visit the delegation on the BESDA App Implementation Support Mission of the World Bank and the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, at Gudi Ibadan. Sulaiman.
Addressing his visitors at the executive chambers of the governor's office, the state governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, noted that Oyo State has benefited from the better education service delivery for additional financing, BESDA AF intervention program, adding that it has enhanced and improved the education sector in the state, while thanking the World Bank and the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, for providing the structural and funding support. Governor Makinde assured that his administration will put in the necessary efforts and resources to access the funds allocated to the state in the new cycle.
The last count, we have been able to take almost 65,000 out of school children back to the classroom. The BESDA further funding, I want to give you the assurance that every resources that we have to achieve the expected result, which is to ensure that we maximize on what has been allocated to Oyo State.
Earlier in his remarks, the team lead for the Universal Basic Education Commission, who is also the National Program Coordinator, Mr. Muyiwa Aleshin, said the team will evaluate the implementation of BESDA AF project, the challenges, and review for further recommendations. He appreciated the immense and massive support of the state government in the implementation of the intervention program.
I also want to use this opportunity to appreciate the immense and massive support that the state is giving to BESDA AF project and the progress that is being made in the project. There's still more to take, and we believe that this visit, after looking at whatever is going on and discussing, we believe that Oyo State will still move higher than what he was able to get the last time.
Also, the team lead for the World Bank, Mr. Shinshaku Nomura, lauded Governor Makinde's effort in reforming education sector and for providing access to quality education at all levels. Olalekan Sulaiman, BCOS News.
Oyo State government has continued to take bold steps to strengthen science education and equip students for global competitiveness. The Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Honorable Olusegun Olaiwola, reaffirmed the state government's unwavering commitment to improving the quality of education and deepening science learning across Oyo State. Our reporter, Frances Aina, who covered the event, noted that he gave the assurance during the symbolic distribution of science materials to selected public secondary schools drawn from all the 33 local government areas of the state.
The Oyo State Education Trust Fund, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, has distributed science materials to 3 selected public secondary schools in each of the 33 local government areas of the state. The event, which was attended by the Permanent Secretary of Education, Mrs. T.B. Onyeloye, directors from the Ministry of Education, staff of the Education Trust Fund, school principals, parents, and students, were designed to improve the quality of science education in Oyo State. In his address, the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Honorable Olusegun Olaiwola, expressed appreciation to the principals and teachers for their dedication. He noted that the outcomes of their efforts are evident, citing Oyo State's 3rd place ranking in the recent NECO examination as a testament to their hard work. He encouraged students to continue striving for excellence, assuring that their efforts are vital to the advancement of education in Oyo State.
There is synergy between all ministries and MDAs, and this is one of it that we are witnessing today. Educational Trust Fund is a fund that has been contributed by various sectors of the economy. And it's a pool where we have some money for educational development of Oyo State. It was created by His Excellency, the executive governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Abiodun Makinde, FNSC. And because they have some money with them, this money are meant for educational infrastructure. And this is the first step now. Supply of chemicals to our laboratories across the state.
In his welcome address, the chairman of the Oyo State Education Trust Fund, Barrister Rahman Abiodun, stated that the fund was established to support educational development and remains committed to achieving this objective.
Today we are distributing the science equipment so as to further complement the educational standard in Oyo State. You can see that the results of our students have been on the increase having regards to the performance. And then you can equally witness to the fact that the recruitment of teachers has really ensured further improvement in the educational sector.
In their goodwill messages, the chairman of ANCOPS, Mr. Fasasi Abdullahi, and the chairman of NAPTAN, Mr. Oyewale Adebayo, expressed appreciation to the government for its efforts in reconstructing and equipping educational institutions in Oyo State.
On behalf of the entire principals in Oyo State, we want to appreciate Her Excellency for this noble gesture again in making teaching of science in our schools real. Because without practicals and science equipment, teaching of science will not be real. Without this symbolic presentation and distribution of science equipment, we know it will go a long way in assisting the science teachers in teaching effectively.
The event highlighted distribution of science materials to students and group photograph. Frances Aino, BCOS News.
As concerns grow over declining standards in Nigeria's education system, despite increasing access to schools, stakeholders are calling for a balanced approach that expands opportunities without sacrificing quality. At the 605th inaugural lecture delivered by F.S. Akinwumi at the University of Ibadan, experts emphasized the urgent need to rethink how education is managed in the country. Our reporter, Marvelous Akede, brings you the highlights from the event held at the Trenchard Hall, University of Ibadan.
In his lecture titled, Achieving Quality Amongst Quantity, The Paradox of Managing Education in Nigeria, Professor Femi Akinwumi addressed the ongoing debate over whether Nigeria should prioritize expanding access to education or improving its standards. He explained that while the number of applicants seeking university admission continues to rise, only a fraction gain entry each year, according to JAMB records. At the same time, Nigeria has about 18.3 million out-of-school children, representing nearly 20% of the global total, indicating a pressing need to expand the system. However, he warned that expansion without adequate planning could weaken quality. According to him, increasing enrollment must go hand in hand with providing qualified teachers, adequate classrooms, proper facilities, and relevant learning materials. Beyond infrastructure and enrollment, Professor Akinwumi also called for the integration of indigenous education into the formal curriculum.
Through what is happening in the educational system, you will discover that we have a lot of complaints, ranging from primary to secondary. And somebody as a stakeholder, right? I've been executive chairman of Super since 2020, and I know what people have been talking about, that we have quantity, but there's no quality. But I believe that, quantity and quality can go together if adequately managed.
Providing further insight, the HOD of the Department of Educational Management of the University of Ibadan, Professor E.J. Isuku, emphasized the importance of balance. He reiterated that increasing the number of schools is necessary to absorb the growing number of applicants, but one that expansion without resources could erode standards.
The lecturer has said you cannot say it's all true or you cannot say it's all false, because it depends on the environmental conditions that exist. And of course, he was even giving different data to see that we still need to expand our school system, given the number of applicants to higher education and the fraction of the people that actually get access to education.
The lecture hosted by the Dean of the Faculty of Education, F.O. Kester, reflected Professor Akinwumi's remarkable journey from driving a taxi on the University of Ibadan campus to delivering its 605th inaugural lecture, a story that reinforced the power of opportunity and quality education. In attendance was the First Lady of Ekiti State, Dr. Olayemi Oyebanji, who spoke glowingly of his character, dedication, and lifelong commitment to the educational sector. Also speaking, Ms. Akinwumi commended her husband, dedication, and emphasized perseverance and discipline as key lasting impact.
The inaugural lecturer happens to be my guy in the department. We are in the same department of educational management. He's my mentor. So for me, it's a blessing listening to him, learning from his wealth of experience.
Topic is so loaded and it's not very common, as you can see. So, a long way forward.
As stakeholders continue to debate reforms, one point remains clear: expanding Nigeria's education system is necessary, but sustaining its quality will determine the nation's long-term development. Marvelous Akede, BCOS News.
We now go over to the sports segment of the news. Please don't go anywhere. Good evening and welcome to the sports segment of the evening news. My name is Toby Ajewole.
A major milestone for rugby in Oyo State as the sport was officially integrated into the mainstream through the Rugby Rising Initiative, a collaboration between the World Rugby and the Nigerian Rugby Football Federation, NRFF. The program focuses on inclusivity, particularly for girls. NRFF Development Officer and Rugby Rising Supervisor Wuraola Hussein highlighted its aim to boost female participation.
We want to introduce more girls to rugby, It's always boys, boys, boys. Now, this is the time for the girls. So that is the main purpose of the Rugby Rising, to bring more girls on board rugby world. The first one we did was in 15 states, but now we are in 20 states. Almost Nigeria have 36 states, and 20 states is playing rugby, and all of them are included in this Rugby Rising. So rugby is in better stage at the grassroots level now in Nigeria. It's well known in Nigeria now. This what we are doing here is T1 rugby. It is touch, and it is it's simple and lovely, and it is injury-free game. Once you play rugby, you have discipline.
Rugby Rising Supervisor Wuraola Hussein highlighted its aim to boost female participation, declaring a bright future for rugby in Oyo State. Oyo State rugby coach Shino Gbinle thanked the NRFF and local rugby body, vowing to turn the state into a rugby powerhouse.
We have some teams that have been selected by the Rugby Federation, which we represent the states and the federation. So I really appreciate my coaches and my officers for that. We have a unity in the National Youth Sports Festival and the National Festival.
In the concluding school competition, Adventist Heritage Academy claimed first place, followed by St. Paul's Anglican School in second, and Oyo State Adventist Conference in third. And in football, Nigeria's Super Falcons received a major boost ahead of the pre-WAFCON friendlies, with 4 key players, goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadozie, defenders Michelle Alozie and Osinachi Ohale, and forward Chiwendu Ihezwo, arriving at the team's hotel camp in Yaoundé. The arrival brings the squad to 24 players, with the quartet set to join training later tonight. Reliable right-back Michelle Alozie and right-back Chidima Okeke are expected to complete the group later tonight. The Falcons face Cameroon in the first friendly on Saturday, with the second clash scheduled for next Tuesday. Both matches takes place at the military stadium in Yaoundé. And in Europe, the UEFA Champions League round of 16 draw produced several heavyweight clashes for Premier League sides, Holders Paris Saint-Germain will face Chelsea in a rematch of last year's FIFA Club World Cup final. Manchester City meet Real Madrid for the 5th straight season in the knockout phase, as Arsenal, the league leaders, take on Bayer Leverkusen. Newcastle United draw Barcelona, with Liverpool facing Galatasaray, and Tottenham Hotspur paired with Atletico Madrid. The first legs are set for March 10th to 11th, and second legs for March 17th to 18th. Chelsea's David Bernard called the PSG tie tough but fearless, while Manchester City's Hugo Viana described their Madrid clash like a final. If Newcastle and Tottenham advance, they could meet in the quarters, as could Chelsea and Liverpool in the other half. The final is scheduled for May 30th at Budapest Puskás Arena. Finally, sport news tonight from tennis. Women's British number 3 Katie Boulter extended a winning streak to 7 consecutive WTA Tour matches at the Merida Open in Mexico. She took the first set 6-3 against Colombia's Camila Osorio before the opponent retired due to injury. World number 69 Boulter, fresh off her Ostrava Open title, now heads to the quarterfinals against either top seed Yasmin Paolini or Priska Hahn. Boulter expressed sympathy for the injured player, noting, "No one really wants to see women with injuries." The next big WTA 1000 event, the Indian Wells, begins March 4th in California. And that will be all. And it's back to news around the world. My name is Toby Ajwali.
Thanks, Toby, for the sports updates. Congolese authorities and a civil society group have said mass graves with at least 171 bodies were found in a part of Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, where the M23 rebel group recently withdrew from, as fighting in the region escalates despite a United States-mediated peace deal. Foreign Desk Editor Folashade Akintola compiled details of this and other stories, now presented by Bimbo Akombi.
The ruler of South Kivu Province, Jean-Jacques Purusi, told the Associated Press news agency on Thursday that authorities found 2 mass graves with at least 171 bodies in the Kirui and Kavimira neighborhoods on the outskirts of the eastern city of Uvira. Information gathered so far indicates that the victims were killed by M23 rebels, said Viz Ramandani, the group's vice president. The governor and the civil society group alleged that the rebels killed the individuals because they suspected them of belonging to the DRC army or a pro-government militia. Both the DRC military and M23 have been accused of extrajudicial killings and abuses by rights groups. Pakistan has bombed Afghanistan's capital, Kabul, and other cities, claiming to have killed hundreds of Afghan Taliban fighters, as Defense Minister Khawaja Asif said Islamabad will now be waging open war, while Afghanistan has also claimed to have inflicted substantial losses in a major escalation of the simmering tensions into all-out conflict between the neighbors. Asif said on Friday that his country's patience has run out with the Taliban authorities in Afghanistan following attacks by Afghan forces against Pakistani military positions along their shared border area.
In response to repeated border violations and aggression by Pakistani military circles, large-scale offensive operations have been launched against Pakistani army positions and military installations along the Durand Line.
Asif framed the attack as one that his country had been forced to make and that followed aggression from Afghanistan. Both sides have claimed they have inflicted serious losses, and the other while sustaining their own casualties. In the meantime, at least 6 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli drone attacks targeting 2 police posts in the Burej refugee camp in the central Gaza Strip and the Al-Mawasi area in Khan Yunis in the south, as Israel presses on with its more than 2-year genocidal war on the devastated enclave. The attacks overnight into Friday were condemned by Hamas as undermining mediator efforts during a ceasefire phase that Israel has violated almost daily since October 10. Medical sources at Nassar Medical Complex in Khan Yunis reported the arrival of 4 bodies and several wounded individuals following an Israeli military strike on a police checkpoint at the Al Maslak intersection in Al-Mawasi. The sources said that the strike occurred in an area outside the Israeli military's control and described the condition of some of the wounded as critical. Bimbo Akonbi, BCOS News.
To end news around the world, here again are the top stories. Our High Court sitting in Ibadan has directed the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to recognize the PDP convention held in Ibadan and validated the emergence of the Aminu Turaki-led PDP executive. Operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, have arrested the alleged mastermind of the 14th December 2025 attack on the Ekwa Church in Ayetoro, Kogi State. On the foreign scene, Congolese authorities and the civil society group has said that mass graves with at least 171 bodies were found in a part of Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, where the M23 rebel group recently withdrew from, as fighting in the region escalates despite a United States-mediated peace deal. The BCOS website is live. Kindly visit it at www.bcostv.com. You can also watch us on GoTV, channel 134, and on StarTimes, channel 113. Now, before I go, don't join hoodlums in threatening the peaceful coexistence of the country, for it is only in an atmosphere of peace that development thrives. That's news around the world. Many thanks for watching. Pẹ̀lú ọpẹ́ sí Ọlọ́run fún ìgbé ayé rere ni a fi ń kéde papòdà olùfẹ́ wa ọ̀wọ́n, ìyàwó wa, màmá wa, ẹ̀gbọ́n wa, Mrs. Esther Iyore Òjó. Ẹni ọdún mẹ́rìndínláàádọ́rin ni wọ́n kí ọlọ́jọ́ tó dé. Ikú yín dùn wá gidigidi. Ìbá ṣe pé àìkú láyé ni, àwọn ará ìgbà náà dà. Báyìí ni ètò ìsìnkú fún Mrs. Esther Iyore Òjó yóò ṣe lọ. Orin àṣálẹ́ onígbàgbọ́ yóò wáyé lọ́jọ́ Ẹtì Friday ọjọ́ 17 oṣù kejì ọdún yìí ní nọ́mbà 32 area 2 Majorogbe Street, Ajibode Resettlement Area, Ajibode, Ìbàdàn. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní dédé aago